Okay, guys, attendees, thank you very much for making time. We can see everyone is now slowly coming into this room. So while we wait for the others, maybe what I'll do is I'll just do some brief introduction. So this is the private Pitchin virtual issuer preview. We had one this morning with the retail crowd and the public crowd, and that was done quite well. Got a lot of interesting questions. And right after or even during the presentations, we saw people actually investing in some of the companies which were presenting this morning. So that was really, really interesting and fun to see. So this is the Angel High Net Worth Sophisticated Investor Group. Again, my name is Sam. Together with me, it's Cash, my co-founder from Pitchin. This is our first ever attempt at doing a virtual issuer preview. As some of you may know, we're more well known for our physical events, but because of the situation surrounding not just Malaysia, but all over the world, we had to move into the virtual ecosystem to do this. So what we'll be doing later for the next probably 1 hour and a half is that we'll be listening from 4 companies who are now raising funds on Pitchin. Out of these 4 companies, 1 is already live on the platform. The other 3 companies are pre-live. Having said that, all 4 companies are now open for investments. Yeah. So even though those companies are pre-live on the platform, that doesn't mean that you can't invest in them now. You will be able to, right? But for VMO Rocks, which is actually live right now, they just went live this morning. They raised their minimum already within the last few hours. And they now be fundraising for the next 30 days. Yeah. So, okay, so what we'll be doing in the next 1 hour and a half is that I'll be calling every presenter where they will then present, do their sing and dance for at least 10 minutes. We will then open it up for you guys to ask questions to the presenters. So if you can see, there's a feature where you can raise your hand on Zoom. Raise your hand when I ask so that you can then talk directly to the presenter. If you wish not to be heard, you still can write your questions at the Q&A feature in Zoom. So if you go down, you look below, there's a Q&A feature there. Ask your questions there, and we will also try our best to answer those questions either live or after the presenter is finished. He or she will then dive quickly into the Q&A and try to answer the question. If not, we'll do our best to screenshot those questions, and we'll get back to you because we do have all your emails, so we will be able to answer your questions. Yeah. All right. So without further ado, let's start. It's 2:34. Everyone had had their lunch, I hope. And when something is done after lunch, all of us are sleepy. So get comfortable. Hopefully there's coffee near you so that you can stay awake. So we're gonna start with the first presenter. But before that, just let me briefly introduce to you the companies. We have Genius Aulad. Those who are familiar, this is really, really a company that has made its mark in the local preschool education ecosystem. They've been around for the last 20 years. They have 70 plus branches all over Malaysia, and they're looking to actually raise this funding to allow them to grow to 100 branches, plus also looking into expanding regionally, especially to Indonesia. So we have Zaliza, the CEO, and also Ahmad Ismail, the CFO, together with us. So that's Genius Aulad. The second company is VMO Rocks. Those who are familiar with the equity crowdfunding scenario would be familiar with them. This is the second round in terms of fundraising on ECF, the first time on Pitchin. The first round was done on another platform, not Pitchin, but we're happy to have them on Pitchin for this particular second round. Like I said, they're live already. They're an online booking platform for event venues and services, but I know Vincent will tell you that they've grown bigger than what they were, and I'll later let Vincent tell you guys what they're now up to. Yeah. The third company, run by a very, very experienced guy, So if you want someone to run this particular industry, you want Jerome Teh to helm it, right? So Second Life Asia is a brand new company. They are coming to the local ecosystem to digitally disrupt and transform how Apple devices are repaired and serviced. Yeah, so we're quite excited about having Jerome and Second Life Asia on the platform. I think Jerome will be able to tell you more about what Second Life Asia is doing, and some of the partners and investors which they've already brought in to help them to grow this particular company. Now, last but not least, Policy Street. We have Yen Ming, the CEO. I've known Yen Ming and Wilson for the longest time when they were still working from 9 to 5. So both Yen Ming and Wilson have now left their previous work to really focus on Policy Street. It's one of the up and coming, if not celebrated, insurance tech company in Malaysia. I won't steal the thunder for Yen Ming. I will allow him to talk more about how good they are and how they are already in the spotlight with Bank Negara and whatnot, right? So there you go, 4 companies that we're presenting today. All of them are run by really experienced founders, and I always believe that while we look for companies with really interesting business plans and whatnot, it's always best to look at the founders, the people behind the company, because in the end, it's them who are really running and driving this company forward. Yeah. So with that, my short briefing or short introduction with regards to the people that we're presenting. So let me start by inviting Vincent from VMO Rocks. We advise all companies to at least take between 10 minutes to present their presentation. Then later we will then pause for Q&A before we then move on to the second presenter. So without further ado, Vincent, your show.
Right, thank you. Let me just share the screen now.
Yep.
Oops, sorry, wrong button. Okay, all right, thank you everyone for coming in at 2:30 and after lunch. So my job is to wake you up, and I'll try my best to do that. And as Sam has already introduced us, that we are a booking platform for event venues and services. But yes, we have expanded a bit further. When we started, it was indeed a booking platform for event venues and services. We've grown that business from 20 listings to over 2,000 listings currently spread out throughout Malaysia. But towards late last year, we acquired Boozit, which is Malaysia's largest beverages on-demand platform with over 4,000 beverage items online. And then there is Bundle Up and Food Advisor. Food Advisor is the more famous of the brand in the sense that it is the largest food discovery platform in Malaysia. I think they rank number 1 or number 2, and they have over 7,000 listings, 7,500 listings on Food Advisor. Bundle Up is the new section that is going to focus on B2B sales. And I'll explain more of that afterwards. What we have transformed ourselves into is not just a booking platform for event venues and services, but really an F&B matching platform that meets every part of the consumer touch points with F&B industries. So starting from Food Advisor, which helps you look for a place to dine or at the moment take away food, to Boozit, which sells you alcoholic beverages, and that's a growth area currently. Even before this was growing, but I think the MCO actually has spurred the sales online. And then on to Vimo, which focus on the event venues and services. So if a person is planning a birthday party, a corporate dinner, a wedding, a convention, they would come onto with us, and we would help them find what are the suitable spaces. So all this is done online. So you can see that we're a fully digital platform. We connect not just users, but brands to the consumers, and F&B merchants to the consumers as well. So if I go a bit more into Vimo. Vimo originally started as not even with the ability to book, right? It was just a listing in the early days. But over that time, we have actually evolved into an entire booking platform where somebody can just search and book a space and find out what's the menu that's available and what time slots are available. Boozit is Malaysia's #1 alcohol e-commerce platform. In some respects, some of their products are the cheapest online. And in light of the MCO, business has actually grown tremendously. It's actually doubled from the beginning of the month, right? So if March was broken up into 2 parts, the second half was really a bumper, right? Food Advisor is usually the first 3 links that you would find when you do a search for food in Malaysia. So if you look for best nasi lemak, best banh mi in PJ or KL, typically the top 3 links, one of it would be Food Advisor, or even two of it could be Food Advisor. Bundle Up is where, because we have access to so many merchants already, we're starting to help these merchants consolidate their buying, right? By doing bulk buying and helping them reduce their costs. And moving forward, post-MCO, I think this is going to be a significant growth area for us, because consolidation of costs is going to be something that's very, very keenly looked at. How we've grown over the years is that if you look at 2015, when we started, we just had 40,000 ringgit worth of bookings and then revenue, and it's moved on to 1.35 million last year. And then in this current year, which just ended a few days ago, March 31st, our revenues were 4.48. So that's more than double the year before. Moving on, we're seeing this kind of growth primarily because once the B2B segment of our business kicks in, you can see that in 2 years, in 2021, there will be a significant growth. That's when we project the B2B segment of the business to contribute significantly to our revenues. Right? This is the projected EBITDA, and we expect to turn a profit by 2021, primarily on the back of the B2B business. Our investors included Cradle, and this, as Sam mentioned, we raised 1 round of funding in 3 years ago, just slightly over 3 years ago to last month, right? And Cradle was one of our first institutional investors to come in. They originally invested 250K out of the 500K that we raised. They subsequently put in another 250K at a different valuation, higher valuation after that. Yeah, 500 Startups is actually a shareholder of Food Advisor, and they're actually coming into this Vimo ECF as well. Right. These are the 2 founders. This is me on one side and Tom. Let me tell you a bit about Tom first. Tom's area, our specialty is actually in F&B. So he has actually run F&B businesses before that. We didn't start this business together. He was actually one of my customers when I started the business, and it was through that interaction with him that he thought that this business could work. And as we brought in bookings to the company that he was running then, and we brought in more and more bookings, he became interested, and then he became our first outside investor. And in that sense, he became my co-founder. I was previously in all manner of digital businesses. The last significant one was just before this would have been with Pan Pages, where I was running the Google Ads business for them. And then in 2014, I decided to launch Vimo. Right. Our offer is we have a minimum target of 500,000 with a plan. A maximum plan for 1.5. Price per share is 1,532 ringgit per share, and it's fairly straightforward, right? We're doing an equity offering of between 2.4% to about 7%. Right? How we're using this funding of 1.5 million, if we hit that total amount, is that it would be split almost equally into the expansion and advertising of the platforms, all right, working capital for the team, right, and of course features and enhancements that we are adding on to the sites, right, especially in integrating all these 3 sites together. Right, so we're seeing that there will be a lot of synergies that we can pull in from all 3 sites, and we're already beginning to see that flow, especially with the MCO. One of the things that we have added into a new category is the pickup and delivery section, which we started building on the 16th and roll out on the 17th. Right, so it was a 1-day thing. When MCO was announced, we said, okay, what can we do? Right, and a takeaway section was the one that we started doing. We focused on self pickups, and one of the reasons why that's so is because I think with more people being concerned about handling their food, self pickup could be an alternative for people who want to pick up from neighborhood restaurants. We've just onboarded something as lowly as a char kway teow stall to be online, right? So that you can actually make your WhatsApp order before you pick up your char kway teow, right? So it's that encompassing that it covers everyone from a hotel right down to a char kway teow stall seller. So that's that ends my presentation, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Vincent. So can we go back to the screen? Cool. Thank you very much for that, Vincent. So that's VMO Rock. Again, as I mentioned, this is the second round of fundraising through Equity Crowdfunding. So to the audience, to the attendees, would you have any questions for Vincent? So if you do raise your hands. Do raise your hand through the feature that you can find there in Zoom. If not, you can also drop. Okay, good. Amran. Hi, Amran. So Cash will allow you to talk now.
Hey, he can go ahead and speak.
Hi.
Hi, Amran.
Now for the funds that you're raising, you've already split them up into the 3.5 million.
Yeah.
What is the horizon to burn through all that?
That would give us another 18-month runway. So it would lead us into profitability already.
Okay, so it's not going into any of your operational costs now. It's just the new spend.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Amran. Anyone else would have any questions for Vincent and VMO Rocks? I've got Sharil. Datuk Sharil. Cash, allow him to talk. Right. Datuk, please.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Datuk.
Sorry, I had. Good afternoon, everybody. I had a bit of a problem. Hi, Amran. I had a bit of a problem logging on. Anyway, I wanted to understand when you say. I just wanted to understand the scale. Thank you for your presentation. Yep. The scale of your coverage. You mentioned from the big company all the way to the char kway teow seller. Could you elaborate a bit more as to how you distinguish the two? I mean, for example, there's issues of consumer protection, there's issues of returns, quality. How do you handle all those things?
Well, to that extent, right? So, for example, a takeaway for this really comes in the takeaway section where the char kway teow salad comes in. So this is a new area that we've just put up. We usually work with operators that have been around for a while, right? So they have already built up. Like, for example, this char kway teow seller is somebody whom I have frequented before, so at least I know the quality already. Would we encounter areas where we will come on board people with our track record? I think what we want to do is to be able to see whether they have already got a track record before this and look at the following. So it's quite easy to find that if they already have mentions on Facebook or on blogs, you can actually identify that already. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, so that means if somebody is already in play, has a business now, but because of MCO is seeing a reduction of about 70-80% in sales, you could actually be in a position to help them.
That's right.
Okay,
that's
thank
right.
you.
Welcome. Yeah.
Thanks.
I think that was a very good question.
Cool. Right. So next question will come from Ken Wong.
Hi guys.
Hi Ken.
Thanks for your presentation. Just want to understand your revenue model a little bit. Is it Is it by taking a cut from the merchant or the user? What's it like?
Okay, thanks for the question. Yes, it is taking a cut from the operator. So we take 10%. We used to take 10% for the event booking. We started at 10% when we started the business. We've actually moved that on to 15% this year with our operators. In the alcohol section, it's actually as high as 22%, especially for limited items, limited edition items. Yeah. So we don't take from the user. Unless, so the exception currently is in the area of food delivery. Let's say, for example, they don't want to pick up the food themselves. They want to have it delivered. So that's an additional, and they bear that charge themselves. So we work with GoGet on that.
Oh, okay. Quick follow-up. So yeah. I'm sure you know that Grab is getting 30-35% commission from merchants.
Yes.
And I've also noticed some F&B entrepreneurs coming on the scene where they actually become a platform for caterers as opposed to individual merchants. So other different kind of business models or F&B plays. What do you think about that kind of indirect competition?
I think it's definite that they have to innovate and they have to change. I think the difference with us is that we already have a platform that's been working for the last 5 years. Food Advisor, Boozit, and us all started in 2014. Coincidentally, we all started in 2014, and we've built up traffic since then. So that's the advantage that we bring to an operator. The moment they come on, they actually have traffic already looking at their product. May not buy them, but at least there is traffic looking at them. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks, Vincent. Thanks for your presentation.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks, Vincent. Vincent, so there are some questions on the Q&A, so maybe you can dive into the Q&A and answer them while we go to the next presenter. So thanks again, Vincent. So Vincent, as I mentioned, is live already on the platform. They're going to be live the next 30 days. So do go to the website. There are more information there that you can actually see. And if you have also other questions that you want to ask him, you can also ask those questions using the Q&A button on the platform itself. Yeah. So let's move on to the next presenter. So could I invite Yen Ming from Policy Street?
Sure, thanks so much, Sam. Let me just share my screen. All right, thank you very much. And a very good afternoon to everyone who's just tuned in. I know it's a very tough time, especially during this crisis of COVID-19, where everyone is staying put in their own homes. So I've got a chance to just give you a bit of a brief introduction about Policy Street. What we're doing for Policy Street is nothing new. It's actually modeled after very successful business models and businesses that is being run around the world. And these are billion-dollar companies, which I will explain in a short while. So Policy Street is a first licensed insurance technology company. We tend to make insurance simple, easy, and affordable. Last year, we actually got a license from the Central Bank of Malaysia. So we are proud to say that we are one of the 32 licensees in Malaysia that was awarded a financial advisor and an Islamic financial advisor license under Section 11 and Section 15(1) of the Financial Services Act 2013. Yeah, so and this company that we founded it about 3 years ago in 2016, late 2016. We've got a holding company in Singapore that's for regional expansion, but currently we're running operations out of Malaysia, and we've seen tremendous growth in the insurance sector itself, which is highly lucrative and highly profitable. So if you look at insurance as a whole in Southeast Asia, it's a 200 million ringgit market. And in Malaysia alone, last year, 200 billion, sorry, not 200 million, 200 billion. And last year alone in Malaysia, if you read Piam and Liam's news, Malaysia recorded 27 billion ringgit in premiums collected. So I want to bring about a little bit in terms of what the industry is all about, the insurance industry is all about. And if you know very well, insurance is always very, very complex. It's hard to understand the jargons that insurance has. And insurance is also always seen as a cost, where the people, like if you look at Malaysia alone, less than half of the population actually have a life and medical insurance. And at times, especially at times where times are good, people never see insurance as a need. Insurance only comes to play when crisis happens, like what we're seeing today with COVID-19. So that's why I think we stand a very, very strong chance, and we see a lot of opportunity during this crisis. This is just some news that we see every day, and now we're seeing even more news as the cases for COVID-19 hit 1 million and more than 50,000 deaths around the world. So I think you see a lot more news about the need for people to actually have even basic life and medical insurance. And my own experience, this happened to me 4 years back. I actually fell from a tree. I actually fractured 2 of my vertebrae. Luckily, I was on a vest, and I was not. I did not have to undergo a surgery, but I was actually nearly paralyzed. But fortunately enough, because I had medical insurance to cover for my treatment. This, and if you look at it on a daily basis, there are hundreds of products being sold by various channels, be it an agent, be it an intermediary, be it via direct. And they sell all types of plans, all types of products, insurance products, to different consumers. But the question is whether do you know whether that plan that you have undertaken is the best plan for you? Does it have the best coverage for you? Is it the best price for you? A lot of times consumers out there are blinded by the various products that they have. And hence why, Policy Street came to mind. And this is what we've done. We've actually collated products from all insurers. So with the license that we obtained last year, I am happy to say that today we are working with 34 insurance and takaful providers in Malaysia. We offer more than 1,000 of our products on our stable, and we allow customers to actually go into our platform to compare, to look at choices, to look at coverages, and to again purchase plans which fits into their needs. And that's again, a very simple approach of how we are here trying to solve some of the pain points that the industry is facing. Having said that, we are here not to displace the agents. I want to make this very clear that we are not here to displace the 140,000 agents that's available in Malaysia. We are here to complement the sales that the agent has done. And that's where, our unbiased platform has enabled even some agents to sell policies which today they are not able to sell. Because we are not an agent ourselves, we are actually a licensed intermediary by Bank Negara. So we work agnostically for the consumers, representing all insurers in Malaysia. So as of 1st January 2020, for the last 3 years, we have served more than 225,000 customers, selling over 36,000 policies and insuring over 3.8 billion. I am also happy to say that just in this first quarter alone, we've just ended March, our numbers of policy have now surpassed 45,000. So we actually did about 9,000 policies in the first quarter alone of 2020. And we're seeing that growth propelling even further as we undergo this crisis that we are facing today. So question is to most people, how could we do it, and why us? Why so special about us? And why not any other players, any other insurance technology companies out there? Couldn't the insurer do it? Couldn't the agents do it? The answer is yes, they could, but they have not got the kind of recipes that we have, which I'll then explain to you in 3 pointers in terms of what stands us out from the rest. So number one, we are the only, like I mentioned earlier on, we're the only local insurer tech company that has been awarded a full-fledged financial advisor and Islamic financial advisor licensing approval by Bank Negara Malaysia. There are only 32 licensees in Malaysia. And out of that 32, 31 are traditional licensees. They are the likes of like Kenanga Investment Bank. They are the likes of Standard FA. They are the likes of like Capsping Temasek. So these are big companies, traditional companies. But we are fortunate enough to be given such license last year alongside Kenanga Investment Bank. And that has enabled us to actually work with all insurance companies in Malaysia. So today we're working with 34 insurance and takaful providers, and we are able to actually offer more than 1,000 over insurance products in our stable. Second, we have been building over time our own, what we call as API technology. The API means real time, means it's proprietary, means that we are able to collate pricing, we're able to give quotation from all 34 insurers on our platform. So we have started off with a motor API. So in case if any of you are renewing your motor policies, you should check out motor.policystreet.com, or you can even go to policystreet.com and choose motor, or you can even go to our subsidiary brand, Paling Simple. So we've just introduced a new brand known as palingsimple.com.my. It will also link you to our API, in which you will be able to find real-time pricing for your motor policies. And the good part is, today, because we are licensed by Bank Negara, we do not just offer you the standard price that you see out there. So if you go to MyEG and you find a price, and you go to policystreet.com, you will see that our prices are much lower than MyEG's price. Or even if you go to any wallets, for example, if you go to, say, Boost and you find Shopify, you'll find that our pricing are much cheaper. And that's because we are able to give preferential pricing through our negotiation with the insurers. And this API has also been used to plug into several traditional players. One of the players that we're plugged into is into Razorpay, and Razorpay has about 500,000 downloads so far in Malaysia. And that has given us even a breadth of volume from the sales of our motor policies. Third, we also employ a very simple 3-step approach for you to actually purchase a policy, all the way from getting a quotation to choosing the right policy and making payment. So today, all our policies that we sell on Policy Street is on a 3-step approach. And that's how we intend to make insurance simple. And we also try to make it easier for you to understand. We have got several businesses. So today, if you look at how we've run the business, we are not just a B2C platform. We also do quite a fair bit of B2B businesses. I am happy to say there are several large companies which are our clients today. And we have been using these companies to build an active ecosystem to ensure that insurance is now accessible to everyone, including the clients and employees of the businesses. This first quarter alone, we've just secured Michelin, which is one of the largest tire producer in Malaysia. We've also secured Foodpanda. So Foodpanda, again, is a delivery provider. And they've got about 15,000 riders, and we are totally insuring that. Last year, we actually closed even a public listed company, which is MSM, which is the largest sugar manufacturer in Malaysia by Felda Group itself. And this goes on. I mean, our entire aim, for 2020 and beyond is to actually empower traditional industries, to empower traditional channels, by enabling them to actually sell insurance, to enable them to provide insurance products. Today, if any of you wants to renew your motor policy, generally you either walk into a car dealer, car showroom, or you walk into Post Malaysia, or you might even go online and find for the insurer. What if I tell you that you are actually able to actually renew your motor policies through 99 Speed Marts, through 7-Elevens, through My News, to other channels that today are not able to do so because they do not have the right licensing. So that's why our API will enable all these traditional channels to have insurance as a solution. And our business is very, very scalable. And I do not want to go into very detail in terms of why we are scalable. If you look at insurance as an industry, it's been around for more than 100 years. And the question is, why would anyone tell a person who is unemployed to become an insurance agent? And that's because it is highly lucrative. And insurance agents generally get paid when a customer buys a policy. But the beauty about it is there is a recurring nature to insurance, where if a customer renews the policy, the person who actually sells the policy gets paid again. And that's why we are here on the long run. And during these times of unprecedented crisis, which is during the COVID-19 crisis, we find that insurance sector is very, very profitable. There's a lot of opportunities during this crisis. And just in 1 month alone, or even in 2 weeks alone, during the lockdown, during the MCO, we have seen pent-up demands for online medical cards. And that sales have been growing as we speak, because people tend to now realize the importance of having at least a basic medical card. And today, Policy Street offers online medical cards as low as just 37 ringgit a month. And we've also launched a couple of initiatives. So we've actually now even provided COVID-19 coverages complimentary to all 15,000 Foodpanda riders. Again, that's been able to be done because of our sheer nature of working with various insurers and helping more Malaysians get insured. We've also launched our own helpline, our own COVID-19 insurance helpline. So for those of you who might have some questions, some burning questions about insurance, please do call through our helpline. Find us through our social handles, which is through Facebook or even through Twitter or even through Instagram, and you'll be able to find our hotlines. And we've also introduced several other measures, which we will be introducing in the near future as well. So now I just want to go into the last section of my presentation, which is why invest in Policy Street. There are a couple of reasons why you should invest today, and I'll go through them now. First, last year alone, there were 10 insurtechs that were valued more than 1 billion. That was the first time that we saw 10 insurtechs globally valued at 1 billion. And we ourselves model after some of these successful, highly successful insurtechs. One of them is Policy Genius, which is based out of India, which runs the same model that we do, which is through a platform and through a B2B to C modeling. Secondly, if you look to your left, that will tell you the number of insurtechs globally, with United States having 706 insurtechs altogether. But if you look at Southeast Asia, the numbers are just a handful. There's just none that's today dominated in Southeast Asia. And Southeast Asia, like I mentioned earlier on, is a 200 million ringgit, which is about $50 billion market. Malaysia alone is 27 billion ringgit Malaysia in a year. So that's how big the market is. And yet, there are no prominent insurtechs in Southeast Asia. And we believe that Policy Street stands a very, very strong chance to be that one. Secondly, we have shown a tremendous growth. Last year alone, we actually did more than 5 million ringgit in revenue, which was about 16 times what we did the year before. The year before, we did 300 over 1,000 ringgit Malaysia. Last year, we did 5.3 million. In terms of premiums, we did 40 times what we did the year before. We did close to about 8 million ringgit. And we sold more than 30,000 policies last year. This first quarter alone, we've already done 9,000. So that will tell you in terms of the volume of what kind of scale that we can do. Third, we are, a team of highly skilled professionals. I myself was previously the director of marketing for Standard Chartered Bank. I have been working for 7 multinationals across 15 years of my experience, predominantly in marketing, in brand and marketing, although I do have a degree in engineering. And recently, I've also acquired my own CFP, which has then enabled the company to get the financial advisor license. I am supported by 2 of my co-founders, Wilson and Winnie. They were Forbes 30 under 30 last year, not this year. Sorry, 2018, not even last year. Sorry, 2018. They were Forbes 30 under 30 2018. Wilson's an investment banker by himself, whereas Winnie is from the actuarial line. So she was with the largest general insurer, which is Allianz in Malaysia. And we are also supported by seasoned industry veterans. So we've got Michael Leong, we've got Shu Wei, and some of these guys, even Ahmad Ramli, they are all in the call today. I'm sure some of them are also in the call today. And we were also supported by a venture cap So in 2017, late 2017, we actually raised our first seed round with KK Fund. We raised $500,000 after we've got a grant from Cradle. So that $500,000 was our seed round in 2017, and now we are undergoing a new round of investments to ensure that we can propel the company. So I won't go into detail, but we were actually awarded one of the top 10 insurtech companies in Asia in February 2020, February this year, by Insurance Business Magazine. And if you look at the latest article by IDC, we were also ranked one of the top 50 insurtech companies in Asia Pacific, alongside successful companies such as ZhongAn and Policy Bazaar. I think, if you look at it with tech, Policy Street definitely has a scale. There is enough volume for us to go through. There is enough data that we're collecting today. And with AI, we're able to then decipher and produce products which the consumer wants. And our end game is basically to actually go towards licensing. And that's where we have put in place certain measures, certain activities, certain initiatives for us to actually acquire a digital insurer license. Today, with our FA license, we are also able to apply for a CMSL license, which is a capital market services license, which we are undergoing at the current moment. And that will enable us to actually expand the business, not just on insurance, but also on investments. And we're also looking at getting a captive insurance license on an offshore basis before we vie for the digital insurer license. But that step will not be easy, and that's why we are looking for strategic partners to come in together with us as we build that consortium to apply for the digital insurer license. This is our return. We are expecting a return of 15 to 30 times in the next 5 to 10 years. Some people might ask us, why are we so bullish? If you look at it, like I mentioned early on, Malaysia is a $27 billion market. We are just scratching the surface if we say that we're doing even 100 million. So that's again something which we are very, very bullish on. And I think we definitely stand a chance to hit the numbers that we've mentioned here. We are currently raising 6 million ringgit Malaysia. 50% of that have been taken up by private placement. We are now undergoing the balance 3 million on the Pitchin platform. And we will use these funds for 3 activities: market expansion, product and technology enhancements, and lastly, on our marketing activities. Because we believe there's a lot more leverage for us, especially in the B2B2C market, for us to penetrate into. This is the detail of our investment. We are today, for that 3 million, we are giving away about 9% shares, and our shares, we are selling in blocks of 100 shares, which is valued today at 2,500 ringgit. So 2,514 ringgit, Malaysia. So for this particular round, we've got a special offer, and it's only open to selected individuals, selected investors, especially the ones which are targeted today. If you invest with us on 2,000 units, which is worth about 50,000 ringgit Malaysia, we will give back 12% additional shares. It's as if today, if you've got 50,000 ringgit Malaysia and you want to find an investment instrument which can give you 12% return, this is the one that you could just get into, because we will then give you additional 12% shares. That means essentially you would get 2,240 shares, in which you would have paid 56,000 ringgit Malaysia to have got that 2,240 shares. But today we give you a return back of 6,000 ringgit, which is equivalent to about 12% discount or 12% dividend in that sense. So that's what we're trying to do today, and I hope that you do see that and you do take opportunity of that. This is really a golden opportunity for you. We have actually closed our private placement on 3 million, so we are looking for the balance 3 million. We've got a reading deck in our platform, which is in Pitchin's platform. Like what Sam mentioned earlier on, we are pre-live, but pre-live does not mean that you cannot invest. Pre-live is when you can address or adopt this special offer. Pre-live is when you can get the special offer. So you should act now and invest during the pre-live to enjoy the special offer. So, and we are open to any queries. So if you want to speak to me on a one-to-one basis, you want to have a different chat with me, I'm more than happy to do that. Unfortunately, we can't do physical meetups. We would love to do physical meetups, but we are more than happy to have a virtual session with anyone, any investor at all. All right, that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Yan-Ming. Thank you for that. Really good presentation with regards to Policy Street. As I've mentioned, we don't see a lot of insurance tech companies in Malaysia, and having one of the best ones in Malaysia fundraising on Pitchin, which evidently allows anyone to then come in to invest, is really an opportunity for investors to come in. Yeah. So let's kill the deck so that we can then proceed with Q&A. So I'll already have seen Ken Wong. You got a question for Yan-Ming?
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam. Hi, Yan-Ming. Thanks for your presentation.
Hi.
For those of you all who don't know, these guys are the OGs of the insurtech space, and the management team is all stars lah. So it's really amazing that they're on this platform for anyone to invest. My question is, how does Policy Street value itself? What metric does it use? And what's the assumed metric look like with this 6 million fundraise? So for example, if you go like price per underwritten policy or price per premium, you know, I don't want to assume that you're an insurance company because you're essentially a scalable distributor, right?
Yeah. So thank you for that question, Waiken. So just to answer your question, in our reading deck, we've got a more comprehensive comparison in terms of where we stand versus other comparable insurtechs globally. So we actually measure ourselves against two different measurements. First measurement, it's against premiums that we bring in. So last year alone, we brought in about 8 million ringgit Malaysia premium. So today, we are valued close to about 3 to 4 times of that in terms of our valuation. And if you look at more seasoned insurtechs globally, so I give you an example, for example, like Policy Bazaar is valued about 5 times. I give you another example, like Next Insurance, which is another unicorn, which is another $1 billion company globally, based in US. They are about 10 times of their premium size. That's their valuation. Second metrics that we look at is in terms of our fees and commission that we get, which is through our gross profit. So today, we are valued close to about 30 over times of that. And if you look at more of the seasoned players globally, they are valued normally about 45 to 90 times of their gross profit in terms of their valuation. So today we are willing to discount ourselves. We're actually giving ourselves at a discount because we know the market is not ripe for investments, and yet we want to raise, we want to fundraise, and yet there are no comparable insurtechs in the region that has actually fundraised through this platform. So hence why we are giving ourselves a more discounted valuation. I hope that answers your question.
Yep. Thanks so much. Maybe one last one from me. If you would indulge, what do the other licenses that you are seeking allow you to do in terms of your capability, and how do you see that affecting the business model?
Sure. So I think thanks, Waiken. So I mentioned earlier on, there is potential for us to apply for a capital markets, CMSL license, capital market services license, which I believe Waiken Stashaway should have as well. So that enables us to actually diversify in terms of other investment products, but does not mean that we would do exactly like what other investment companies are doing today. And the second one, which I mentioned, was in terms of an offshore licensing license that we're looking at. And that's actually a captive license that we're looking at. With a captive license, we actually can do group insurance. We can actually underwrite certain policies for groups. So just to give you an example, certain large companies in Malaysia, they actually do not buy insurance policies from insurers, but they actually underwrite their own policies. The reason for that is because very simple. Today, if I sell you an insurance policy, say if I sell you 1,000 ringgit insurance policy, and next year you only claim 200 ringgit, you essentially just lose 800 ringgit to an insurance company. So what bigger companies do is they take the entire 1,000, They take the risk by themselves, they insure themselves. And this again is allowed, through captive licenses, like an offshore license that we are trying to vie for. And lastly, I think we were looking at a digital insurer license so that we were able to then develop products. We are able to underwrite products in the markets that we're in. And I think with the digital insurer license, it will give us the ability to penetrate into a wider spectrum of offerings, apart from the ones that we have today off the shelf. And I also want to echo another question which was mentioned earlier on in the morning about whether would that cannibalize the current intermediary situation that we're in. Actually, on the converse, I think it works positively for us, because today we are building the base, we're building the ecosystem. And once we have the digital insurer license, we would then be enabled this database of ours to have better options, to have better choices, to have cheaper options in that sense of visual products. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, cool. We've got one more person, Cash. Jeff Liu.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, loud and clear.
Loud and clear, Jeff.
Right. Okay. Greetings from Fiji.
Hi.
I'm shipwrecked. I'm shipwrecked here. So, well, literally.
Wow.
Yeah. And anyway, congratulations, Yan Ming, to have come this far. My question is around market expansion in Southeast Asia.
Sure.
I mean, every startup claims they want to expand, they want to go global. I just want to know what specific steps have you guys taken in terms of your expansion strategy?
Sure. So we've actually done quite a fair bit of work in two markets. The first market is actually in the Cambodia market. So we've actually connected with the largest insurer in Cambodia, known as Forte Insurance. We've also connected with MGA, which is one of the largest brokers in Cambodia, because we know very well that it will be difficult for us to obtain a license, a local license, without having the local persons as part of the company. And hence why we are actually today working alongside a local company in Cambodia to ensure whether we can do a JV or we can do a partnership in those markets to penetrate in that particular market. So that's in Cambodia. Second market that we're looking at is Indonesia. And again, the Indonesia market is a very fragmented market. And we tend to see pockets of opportunity, not in Jakarta itself, but in outer Jakarta. And that's where we're also talking to several brokers. We've also got another friendly party in Indonesia that will allow us to expand into that market. This particular party that we are connected to actually has or owns one of the motorcycle distributorships in Kalimantan, which is the area where the new capital for Indonesia would be. So again, we're quite bullish on this front, but again, we're also taking a pragmatic approach of making sure we've got the right investments, making sure we've got the right licensing, and making sure we've got the right timing to enter into those markets. I hope that answers your question.
Right.
Jeff.
Okay. So the follow-up question, I've had some discussion of this with Wilson, is that when we invest in Policy Street Malaysia, are we also investing in your holding company in Singapore? Because I would assume that all these foreign partnerships will be done with the holding company, right?
Sure. Thanks so much, Jeff, for that question. Yes. So today, when we run our ECF on Pitchin, it will be an investment into the Sendram Berhad, which is a Malaysian-based entity, which is wholly owned by the private limited entity that we have in Singapore. What we have done with Pitchin is that we have got an agreement where all investors, whether it's nominal or non-nominal, on the Pitchin platform, will then be transferred to our private limited shareholding within 3 to 6 months' time. So, which means essentially you would own our group company and not just the Malaysian entity itself. So to answer your question in a very simplistic manner, you will actually have the leverage and the opportunity to enjoy our expansion plans as we go through them.
Excellent. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Jeff, and enjoy Fiji while you're there. Okay. although I imagine you're stuck in a hotel or a house there, so you can't really enjoy Fiji, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yenming, there are some questions on the Q&A part, so I'll let you later dive into the Q&A portion, so you can type in your answer to those questions. Yeah. So let's move on. So thank you, Yenming, and thank you, Policy Street, for sharing the opportunity to invest in Policy Street. So Cash, where are you, Cash? So let's move on to the next presenter. If I could invite Jerome Tay from Second Life Asia. Hey, Jerome, right? So you can enable your screen share and then we can start. Audio, Cash audio, Jerome. Jerome, you need to enable your audio.
Got it. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Hi. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for dropping in. First off, I would like to thank Sam and Cash for organizing this pitching session. I just want to share with you the journey for Second Life Asia. Just a quick 1 minute about Second Life Asia. Second Life Asia is actually a mix of a brick and mortar company together with ICT, which is very much on telecoms and digital. I'll tell you more about it in the details. Okay, so for example, what we are trying to target for not only for retail customers, for corporates and for SMEs, your majority pain point, especially if you're using an Apple device, is actually repair and services. You can buy brand new devices and it comes with a 1-year warranty, and if anything is wrong with it, you can actually just trade it in. Not trade it in. You could actually just do a one-on-one trade. But what about the devices which is after warranty period? Okay, so what we are trying to do is that Second Life Asia is a 4S hub for Apple Repair Center. It's actually your one-stop shop. And how are we differentiated from the rest is, number one, your problem statement. When you bring it into an Apple store, they will tell you, well, let me rephrase, when you bring it into an Apple retailer authorized repair center in Malaysia, they will tell you to either leave your devices with them for 7 to 10 working days. The reason for that is because it's very simple, because they don't have the repair facilities and the skilled technician. So what do? They actually just courier it to either Hong Kong or to Shenzhen and get it repaired and send it back to you. The second part is that the local providers here, they frequently use OEM or reuse parts or low-end parts for your repair, which makes the market quite a jungle, because you will have devices which doesn't last. Your repair will probably just go wrong in a month or 3 months. And for example, even though you use OEM devices, they charge you original price. So they will tell you, you have original and you have OEM, but both, once you pay for it, they may swap it out and give you an OEM device, okay? And last but not least, there's 0 to limited warranty period. So these are the pain points that we're trying to solve. So, and how do we get about doing it? Well, we are actually a very, very new company. Everybody knows who Tim Cook is. We actually have a partner who is a business partner or subsidiary unit of a very big company in Shenzhen, who are currently serving AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, Assurant, T-Mobile, Telefonica, Vodafone, Gadget Cover, Assurance, and the list just goes on. This business for them, they have been around for 15 years. They are not new to the telecoms industry. They've been around since BlackBerry, and they've moved on towards Apple products. So basically, they are located in Shenzhen, on Hong Kong, Shenzhen. So they are currently servicing all these partners. They have a facility set up. In fact, they have two, Shenzhen and sadly Wuhan. So they are very, very badly affected as well. And they are opening up a new one in somewhere in the States. I'm not sure the location, but they are building it at the moment. So what did they do? So what they do is they support the operators in all the support and repairs and maintenance, the insurance, the pre-loved devices for all the operators in North America, Latin America, and in some part of the Europe, especially for Telefonica and T-Mobile. So we are not doing anything different. We are just taking the business model that is happening in the States and in Europe and Latin America and implanting it in Asia. And you may ask, why no one else in Asia is doing this? Well, number one, because obtaining the parts for Apple, it's very, very, very difficult. And that's number one. Number two, we did invite them over. They came to Malaysia last year. They met a few of the operators. Then they realized the Malaysian market is too small. There's only 7 million devices. So for them, they are doing 100,000 of devices a month. So 7 million in total is actually very, very small, which is why we have the chance to present to you here. What we are trying to do together with them is that we try to redefine the market. We are able to repair not just phones, we are able to repair iPads, MacBooks, Apple Watches, your iMacs. So the works, everything within the Apple family. So how do we redefine the market, or how do we disrupt the market? Simple. Now, if you're buying the devices from the market, you will notice that they have grade C, grade B, grade A, grade ORI, or grade AAA. All this grading doesn't mean anything. What it means is that grade C, maybe they have cannibalized the devices and sell it to you using fake parts. Same goes all the way to grade A. But what we're trying to do is that we want to redefine, disrupt, and just have one grade, which is carrier grade. And why do we do carrier grade? Because if you are well-traveled, if you've been to North America, Latin America, and Europe, and walk into either AT&T, Sprint, Clearwire, you would have noticed that they actually sell pre-loved devices. And these pre-loved devices are what we call carrier grade. And this is exactly what our business partner, our JV partner, is doing in overseas. And we are replicating it in Malaysia. Our USPs. Second Life Asia is actually very, very new, very, very young. We were born, actually, yeah, we actually launched on Christmas that time, right? So we actually launched on Christmas. And from Christmas to now, so we are getting things ready, getting things going, and then MCO kicks in. Anyway, that's a different story. So Second Life Asia, we pride ourselves in 5 USPs. The first USP is a diagnostic app. We actually have an app, which is a diagnostic tool, which actually diagnoses 34 critical parts of your phone and give you a report on the health of your device. Okay, a bit more about that on the next slide. Second thing, we only use 100% certified factory parts, genuine parts, and we are able to prove to people using the same diagnostic tool. Okay, whatever we repair, we offer a warranty of 365 days. You won't find it out in the market, especially in the Malaysian market or the Asian market. Of course, waterproofing. We actually have built our facility. Actually, when I said we actually launched our hub on Christmas in SS2. It has a clean room, waterproofing, and dustproof facility. So we do drop by and have a look. And lastly, we offer same-day repair. No such things as 7 days, because nobody can live without this device for more than 3 hours. If you don't use your phone for 3 hours, you'll probably be having withdrawal symptoms. So imagine leaving it for 7 days. So we make sure that we do it within the same day. And if we can't do it within the same day, we will offer a loanee to the users. Next. A bit more about our app. So our app is already available for download on Apple Store. It's Second Life Asia. And it's only, we closed the download facility to within Malaysia only. We haven't opened it to the rest of the Southeast Asian countries yet. So it's an analytics, diagnostic, and marketplace, and more. So what it does is that it can check and assess 34 critical operating parts of your phone. It will tell you how your battery is doing, what's the status of it, the capacity of it, and plus any other areas which is not working well. It can also appraise your device, as in the value of your trade-in value of your device. On top of that, it will also be able to tell you that, for example, if specific part of your camera is broken, we will be able to quote you and get the replacement done based on the cost, the price that's shown there. So basically, very, very transparent. We don't just check up the price for the sake of it. Last but not least, we provide a quality assurance on top of whatever that we repair. The app also acts as a warranty tracking for all devices that has been sold and repaired by us. Okay. Our 4S hub. As I mentioned earlier, on-site repair, same-day repair, no worry of unauthorized replacement parts, diagnostic report for parts as well, guaranteed best practice, and 365 days warranty. First of its kind clean room facility in Asia, ability to repair an iPhone 10 and upwards, which is water resistant or waterproofing, as well as dust proof. Even though Apple says that it's actually water resistant or waterproofing, please do not take it and scuba dive. It's electronics and water does not mix, okay? And we also, as I mentioned earlier, one-stop solution for out of warranty repair for iPad, MacBooks, iMac, and then Apple Watch, anything that have to do with Apple. We only use certified factory parts or money-back guarantee if it's rejected by iOS. Our business, as I mentioned earlier, I mentioned that we intend to be a disruptor for the market, okay? And this is how we want to do it. We want to focus on the spare parts. On the spare parts area, we are actually intending, in fact, when we set up the last 3 months, we have been very, very busy and active in focusing on B2B, not so much on retail market, but more on the B2B. So some of the B2B partners that we have already engaged to work with, for example, are very much into the F&B areas. So why F&B? Because F&B areas uses a lot of iPads. A restaurant could use 4 or 5 iPads. If you're talking about sake sushi, they're probably using 30 iPads. So we are very much focused on the F&B, but we don't penetrate the market ourselves. We work together with the point of sale system providers. So some of the point of sale system providers that we are actually already working with are GoMana, for example, Elements, eMenu, Slurp. Yeah, I think there's 5. Lot more coming on board, so we are still in discussion with them. We also sort of warranty our device. So we allow people to buy insurance on top of the device as well. So to ensure that the device is warranted, and whatever we warranty is actually 2 years, not just a normal 1 year. And last but not least, our end game is, of course, to be exactly like what our investor company is, our JV partner, which is to work together with the telco to be their repair center for Apple devices. Okay. On sales part, besides doing all the necessary sales that we are doing on retail and B2B, as I said, we have the app. The app is actually a very, very good diagnostic tool. In the long run, it will help us manage to track all the repairs that we have done and all the sales that we have done, because the warranties are being tracked by the app itself. Of course, that leads to big data. And another good thing that we are actually doing is that we are leasing our devices. We actually lease our devices to F&Bs. We do offer leasing for established SMEs for MacBooks and iPads. Some of the companies we are talking with is actually Silver Lake and Uber Fusion. These are all developers that uses a lot of Macs. The other area, obviously, if you can't talk about ICT without talking about Industry 4.0, going green, recycling, being cost effective, and of course, offering job opportunities. Why I say offering job opportunities? Because this is a very, very niche market. It's a very technical dependent skill set. Our technicians are actually sent to Shenzhen to be trained. Why being partner with our JV partner in Shenzhen is so important is because imagine every year there's a new Apple launch, not just iPad, but the iPhones. Let's just talk iPhones because that's the most sold device on for Apple. So every year there's a new device launch. Every year there's a new tech launch. So your limitation on skill set to repair is a ceiling. So every year you need to further educate yourself, improve your skill. So which is why for us it's actually quite a blessing to have our partner who is able to give us the technical experience as well as the guidance, as well as the spare parts. Which brings me to the next point, which is health area, academic center, and being a game changer. We intend to also set up the academic center to train all these technicians that we have locally. Why? Because we intend to go nationwide and we can't just keep sending people to China, of course, because it's very costly. So we will do a train the trainer. And of course, we can run academic centers further on. And health, no need to say, the next iPhone, Apple Watch launch, Apple 6, it's already have ECG tracking already. So it's actually, it fits exactly into our strategy. Our go-to-market strategy. Okay, we are open to retail customers, of course, for servicing pre-loved devices. Yes, we sell pre-loved devices. So anybody who's interested in pre-loved Apple devices, do look us up. We offer Shield, which is protection. We have a diagnostic app, and we also sell any of those devices, okay? But our focus is mainly on enterprise business, which is the sale and maintenance of Apple devices for enterprises or SMEs. We target a lot of universities. We work together with partners to target universities, which is TAR University, TAR College, INTI, and hopefully this year UITM, but maybe the roadmap will be a bit derailed because of the MCO. And of course, the bulk sales for second line visual devices within the region, which is namely Vietnam and Myanmar. We have already started this discussion because next, this is the our intention, basically to be the preferred out of warranty partner for repair for all the network operators. The network operators here, for Malaysia, I'm referring to either your DG, your Maxis, your Celcom, your U Mobile, your Telecom Malaysia. So that's the holy grail where we want to move towards to. The people, a bit more about us, myself, my founding partner, and our mentor. I have 26 years experience. I'm mainly very much from strategy house on telecoms, media, and digital. Then I moved towards DG. I was one of the value-added services senior manager in DG, head of value-added services. Then I launched a you can say a YMX LTE operator called Packet One, which is now part of WeBe and then part of TM. Then after that, my last role is very much in Jakarta as a CMO for one of the LTE operators in Jakarta. So my background is very much into telecoms. My partner is Alan. He also started very much from telecoms in Digi. That's where I met him. And then he went on to one of the largest hardware, mobile hardware and services company in the world. Then whereby he specialized mainly in mobile devices and mobile applications. And then after that, he did his a stint, I think a 3-year stint in Chatime, with Chatime in Thailand by opening up the chains, 150 chains just within Bangkok. So, and he's a serial entrepreneur. So currently he also has mobile retail outlets in the market, I think up to 5 now, maybe more. Last but not least, our mentor, investor, and advisor is Dato Sri Shazali. He is basically the group chief CEO of TM Group, as well as CEO of Axiata. So basically, I think he's quite well known. So he's our mentor advisor as well as investor. The financials about the financials. Just to share.
Jerome, just to jump in a little bit, we are running a little bit of time, so you may need to speed it up just a little bit. Thanks.
Got it. I'm only down to last 3 slides. So the financials. So we broke it down to very simple 3 years financials. You will see our first year is 2.2, second year is 12.1, and third year is 31.3. The breakdown between retail, leasing, and repair is 60-40, 60% on repair and 40% on retail and leasing. The margin I can share with you, retail is probably 20, leasing is probably 100, repair is probably more than 100%. So, which gives us an EBITDA of, you'll see at the bottom. Okay. The opportunity, I just wanted to share, just a quick one. iPhones commands a total market share of 25% in Malaysia alone, which is about 7 million devices growing year on year, 4%. Our first year number is 1.2 units for repair. That's 0.018%. Second year is 0.09, and third year is 0.23%. So we are not even scratching the surface of the market, of the Apple devices market. And on the right, you will see all the devices that's actually in our current network, all the 4 operators network, and mainly they are all still using very old devices. So upgrading is opportunity for pre-loved devices. Okay, just want to share with you about what we are trying to raise. We are trying to raise 1 million for 10%. The share value is at 90 cents each. We did a friends and family raise a couple months back, whereby we had a 100,000 ticket size, which will get 40% more bonus shares. It's not written here, but that's still valid. So anything above 100,000, you still get your 40% additional bonus shares. But if you do a minimum 20,000 early bird promotion, you will still get 22,222 units. But on top of that, you unlock an Apple Watch pre-love. It's a pre-love because we are walking our talk. And of course, anything that is above 5,000, you get our Second Life premium t-shirts, which anything above, right? Including those who have funded above. And last but not least, the minimum is actually 1,008, which will get a 20% battery replacement. And so what do you get for your investment? Well, the coupon rate is actually, it's a mixture of equity come interest. You get a yearly cumulative 8% per year to a maximum of 25% non-compounded. So you will get a maximum of 24%. It's structured as an RCPS, whereby the target payout is from the month 24 onwards. And until this 24% is paid off, ordinary shareholders are not eligible for any dividends. This is actually to protect our investors. And for those who actually would want to carry on with us and convert, then great. Then we take on the rest of the Asia. Then if they want to redeem, then we give them an additional 20% on subscription price upon redemption. So that's what I have to offer. How are you going to use the money? Okay. A small portion of them goes into marketing. A major portion will go into pre-love inventory. This is quite a capital intensive game. Why? Because you need to buy Apple devices to sell Apple devices, right? That's why it's a bit capital intensive. Of course, on top of that, we intend to open an additional 4S hub in Klang Valley, which is very much in the KL side, whereby to focus on the students market. We're in discussion with the Unicis now. And of course, operation runway of 200K. And last but not least, additional equipments to be brought in that is required. Just a summary of what we are currently doing. We have battery replacement, critical issues. We sell devices as well. We have warranty for our devices as well. We are currently also working with Union Space and Common Ground, whereby their users are able to repair their devices at a discount. We also offer memory upgrade to your devices. A lot of people doesn't know that you could actually upgrade the memory of your device, your old device especially. So we offer that as well. And we also offer pre-loved Apple Watch, which we were supposed to start, but now I guess has to be a bit delayed. And last but not least, just join us, because besides Kuala Lumpur, we intend to go to Jakarta and Bangkok, of course, and more to come in Southeast Asia. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerome. Thank you very much for that presentation on Second Life Asia. Again, a brand new company, but as seen from the lineup, I think you'll all agree with me that the entrepreneurs running this company have amassed experience in this particular sector where they're actually running this company. So I'd like to open the Q&A floor now to attendees. Jerome, maybe you can kill the deck, Jerome?
Yep, hang on, give me a second.
Yep, so so let's like to invite any attendees. If you have any questions directly to Jerome, you may ask them now, or you could also post your questions on the Q&A. We also can do that too. But for now, if you have any questions for Jerome, do raise your hand, and then we will enable you to ask, for you to ask the question directly to Jerome.
I think there's one that you can answer very quickly. That's
Yes.
asked on the Q&A. What version of Apple Watch is it? Nike, Hermes, Series 5?
It will be a Series 4. We are actively looking for Series 4, okay, because Series 4 has LTE and GPS.
Okay. Right, cool. Amran? Okay, Amran, ask the question.
Hey, hi. Is there a market for Android? Would you go down that path?
Hi, Amran. Thank you for the question. Yes, there's a market for Android. We do intend to go into this path as well, but it would not be so soon. There's actually plans afoot whereby we are, it's not shared on the slide, but I will just verbalize it. We have already have an agreement with a marketplace, an online marketplace, and with this online marketplace, we intend to put repair facilities on the online marketplace. So it will cover nationwide, and it will cover not only Apple devices, but Android, MacBooks, and also Windows computers. So yes.
Right,
Okay,
cool.
thanks.
Thanks, Amran. Right, cool. Any more questions for Jerome? Live questions? All right. If not, Jerome, there are a couple of questions on the Q&A button, if you scroll down. So do answer that.
Okay.
While we continue with the session. Yeah. All right.
Okay,
Jerome.
will do. Right.
Cool. So next up would be Zaliza and also Ahmad Ismail from Genius Aulat.
Good. All right. Okay. Salam and good afternoon, everybody. How are you? How's your family? How's your children? So Genius Aulat is here. I've been playing with this in this playground for 20 years with children. We are here to for an expansion with Pitchin. For 20 years, this has been an important community family support, and we are excited to grow further. The mission is for affordable, quality, early childhood education. So the first part will be me, Zaliza, as the CEO. I will be sharing about the growth facts, and then after that will be from Ahmad Ismail, our CFO, on the investment part. So Genius Aulat is an established, award-winning chain of preschool education system of education, quality, affordable, licensed and governed by Ministry of Education and also Ministry of Consumerism and Domestic Trade, which is KPDN, KCP, Malaysia. There are about 95% private preschools in Malaysia. That means preschools in Malaysia, 95% are consist of the private preschools, and Genius Aulat being preschool and full daycare and education contributes to the 20% of the private preschools altogether. We've been the catalyst for Islamic English-based preschool, the only franchise under Kepenang HDB, and for early childhood education when it started in year 2000. And we have been growing the company organically, nurturing over 70,000 children since inception. And to date, we have more than 5,000 children. With our database, has been the largest, by far, largest preschool database since our inception. And we are refocusing or remodeling our business direction for 2020 towards corporate infant childcare. That means range of children from 2 months until 4 years old. Let me share with you another slide to explain that. Oh yeah, by the way, this is our awesome team. I introduce you. That's me. And the one beside me, Muhammad Hafiz, is our co-founder. He is in the infra facilities development design, okay, with his experience for more than 20 years in that field. And Hasnol, he is very awesome in finance with more than 20 years experience in finance investment, bank negara, so on and so forth. And Puan Zeti, hope you are here watching. Puan Zeti is also in our group here, board of director. She is specialized in corporate governance for us, inshallah. Okay, so Genius Aulat started in year 2000, and then we move on with our second, third center and so on, moving organically, and we registered for franchise in year, to be exact, in year 2008, and full-fledged franchise in 2010. And we have altogether more than 70 centers nationwide, including in 2018, we opened our first flagship center, international flagship center in Indonesia. And we're excited to move in year 2020 and focus our franchise model more, emphasizing on that, together with our brand expansion, extending our brand of Genius Aulat towards childcare, which we call Genius Care. This is among the awards that we have collected over the years, and the latest being in 2019, Brand Laureate World Halal Best Brand Awards for the category of Business and Community Leadership, Global Business Leadership Award 2019, and you can read more, Reader's Choice Awards in 2014. Actually, we got that every year from 2014 until 2018. We are also education consultant for various television programs and TV channels, and the one that is really breaking record is our as education consultant for Oma and Hana Animation in Astro, with more than, it's not 1 billion, it has been updated, it's actually almost 2 billion YouTube viewers in Malaysia and worldwide. And here's the brand expansion that I was talking about. From Genius Aulat, this is our market segment where we are Islamic-based education, mass market, 4 to 6 years old. And we are expanding our brand to Genius Care, providing childcare and education for conventional market, for corporates, for companies to open their childcare in their company for children aged from 2 months to 6 years old, meaning to say we are covering the segments of infant care, child care, as well as preschool, early childhood education. So this is very comprehensive, covering all range of early childhood education, and I assure you that actually this is among the most comprehensive one in the market so far. Now, how much Genius Outlet has grown over the years? We have grown 10 to 15% company growth in sales for the past 5 years, and our net worth valuation has increased by 200% for the past 5 years, with almost 300% growth in sales for the past 5 years under Gains Education Group. Genius Outlet is a wholly owned subsidiary of Gains Education Group, which consists of international school, private schools, and the rest in the group, teachers training and all. So we are forecasting for Genius Outlet to have at least 30 centers in the next 3 to 5 years. And this is something not new to us, because at the minimum, we have grown around 10 centers every year so far. And these are among the centers, our organically grown centers. By organic, I mean that these are carefully selected franchisees. These are dedicated franchisees, which are not just there for investment, but for high performance growth for every center that we have. So if you look at this part here, okay, central region, southern region, northeast, the one in blue, okay, those are our HQ owned centers. Some of these centers will later be franchise centers. So we are changing that to franchise centers, and our HQ centers will be more of flagship centers in every state in Malaysia and abroad. So that will be our business direction that we have planned earlier for 2020. This is our growth since year 2000, okay, climbing up the ladder, and we hope to climb more. And this happens because we are targeting the biggest market group in Malaysia. We go for a market group where those parents who seek for established preschool education, affordable quality preschool education, where 85% of them are from middle income group and travel less than 10 kilometers, 77% of them, and 80% of our students are from 4 to 6 years old, and 70% of the families or the parents are from the age range of 31 to 50 years old. So in summary, our target market size are actually the growing market size in Malaysia. So being an essential business, being a support, a community support, family support, we see that despite MCO or various situations, conditions that's going around, we believe that like for the past 20 years that we have experienced, education in early childhood remain as a viable business, remain as a stable and growing business. Hence, we are looking more for growth investment, right? So as I mentioned just now, 95% of preschool industry in Malaysia is private preschool, and Genius Outlet accounted for 20% of that. So therefore, you can see how much more growth that Genius Outlet can expect in the future. All right, this is one of the survey on factors of choosing Genius Outlet. So we do this every now and then to understand the market needs, to understand the parents' need. So like for example, during this MCO period, we have done surveys with parents, with franchisees, various kind of surveys, and we are also looking forward for an online preschool education also to support the preschool education that is currently that we're having. Why is Genius Outlet remain as a competitive advantage, and how is Genius Outlet different? We have our own syllabus, okay, which is about 65 in-house developed book titles copyrighted, and we have more than 50 entrepreneurs in early childhood education sector via our complete franchise system. That's a strong branding, registered trademark, and our own teachers training, dedicated location analysis, so on and so forth, steady growth for the past 20 years. So here we are now, launching the crowdfunding. This is a rare opportunity. Join us. For 2020, this is where we are, and 2023, we are expecting to add at least another 30 centers in Malaysia alone. So 100 centers by year 2023. And as we have already expanded our flagship center in Indonesia, we are expecting to further expand our overseas market in 2024. And going for KRSC IPO listing in 2025, together with our group of education, Gains Education Group. So this is possible because we come in a group. Okay, now come the exciting part, another exciting part. So I would like to invite our CFO, Encik Ahmad, over to you.
Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. I'll continue with the investment opportunity in Genius Outlet. Just to share with how the from the fundraising will be utilized. We basically sharing that we'll concentrate on the franchise business and also B2B. So what we'll do is basically we'll strengthen our management system to enable us to do analysis so that we can improve our efficiency. Secondly, we'll spend on developing the new flagship center. This flagship center is like a show to our franchisees so that they can follow the sample center, and then also we will implement franchise blue, because what we have currently is about 10 years ago. That's something that need to improve to fine tune towards current franchise. And then so as we concentrating on the franchise business, expand our franchise services, mainly giving more training to the franchisee, giving guidance as well as probably financial advisory. We'll move on. I'll move on to the next slide. Key investment factor in Genius Outlet. This is an investment opportunity because we have been around for 20 years, and this is the opportunity for the investing public out there to diversify their portfolio in the education industry. And for those who are concerned, yes, we are trying our best to maximize the shareholder value. The way we operate, we are Sharia compliant based company. I'll move on. This is what we think. We are offering ordinary shares to the maximum of 3. The equity offered 10% of our total of 4 million. The fundraising exercise, the total paid capital about 7 million. We plan to issue share 405,000 based on the valuation of the million. The minimum investment for 200 share in GA is only 180. I'll move on to next. This is the investment forecast. As earlier, we are focusing on expansion and also our franchise business. You can see that revenue in 2020, basically shifting from our own center to franchise. However, the drop in revenue is compensated with the higher profitability. So we are expecting in 2023, we are reaching about 4.8 million in terms of EBITDA. I'll move on to the next slide. This is about the same with the previous slide. I'll move on. Yeah, in any investment, investor will always look the exit opportunity. So what we are planning after the first fundraising exercise, there will be another round of funding where the whoever that investing in Genius Outlet will have the opportunity to exit if they wanted to. And also in 2024-25, we are planning for IPO with the valuation of 100 million. So investing now, the valuation is about 30 million. The second round, the valuation estimated at 50 million. Lastly, the valuation estimated at 100. I'll go to the last slide. Historical investment and investment that the shareholder has put in, how much money the shareholder has put in to come to this 100 million valuation by 2023. We started with 1 million, we put in about 6 million from the period of 2000 until 2019, and in 2020, the fundraising of 3 million and also internal funding of 1 million, the total cumulative investment value stood at 10 million, and we are planning another 5 to 7 million for the period of 2021 and 2023, so that the cumulative investment value by the existing shareholder come to about 15 to 17 million. Okay, to all the investors out there, let's come and join us in our expansion at Genius Outlet, and let us grow together in this education industry.
Right.
Thank you. That's all from me, Sam.
Right. Thank you, team Genius Outlet. Again, let's kill the deck, and then let's see whether there are any questions for the Genius Outlet team. Okay, folks. Any questions for Genius Outlet?
We have answered earlier. There was a question. I think we have answered in the list there.
In the Q&A, yeah? All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right,
so how do we earn our dividend profit upon investment? So as mentioned, Genius Outlet is looking at growth investment and capital appreciation. So there is opportunity, as shared just now, there's every level, there's opportunity of exit and sale at each round of fundraising, and also upon IPO at the end. Yes, we are providing the financial report each year. To everyone out there, Genius Outlet would like to offer to all corporates and companies out there, after this MCO is lifted, we see that being an important community support, we would like to invite everyone to also own your own licensed preschool childcare, or link your company with the nearest Genius Outlet, which are over about 70 Genius Outlet around Malaysia, to support you to build your business for providing stability for your employees. You can also own Genius Outlet franchise for your company, complete with franchise support system. So you can see here, the opportunity of growth is very large. Besides that, there was a question earlier, what opportunities can we see emerging in terms of crisis. So we see how people want to build a community, servicing humans beyond just building business. So that's exactly what we are, servicing humans beyond just building business. For over 20 years. So we see that how this will be an important expansion coming up, as well as online learning. Online learning means it's not just for children, it's for parents, it's for materials, it's for teachers training, very large.
All right. Thanks, Eliza.
All right.
So, Cash, could we get back all the other companies online? Members of the audience, attendees, again, thank you very much for staying with us till the end. I think before we quickly wrap this up, so Zaliza has done her last pitch in terms of why you should be investing in what they call Genius Out Loud. Again, it's not a brand new company. It has proven its mettle in time. It's a 20-year-old company. Again, Equity Crowdfunding allows investors like yourself to invest in companies like Genius Out Loud, which has already validated its business model and now going to actually then scale not just in Malaysia, but also thinking of also expanding regionally, right? So for the other founders, Vincent, Yen Ming, and also Jerome, maybe you want to leave this particular preview session with a quick pitch now before we actually finish why all these investors should be investing in your company after this particular event. So let's start with Vincent. Yep.
Okay, thanks. Hi, thanks. I think one of the opportunities for where Vimo is concerned, the investment actually goes into, it's almost a proxy for the F&B industry, in the sense that even as the F&B industry has suffered a downturn currently through the MCO, there will be a rebound because food and beverage is an essential, right? How it's consumed may change a bit, and that's where what we're doing at Vimo is actually moving with the times as well. As you can see, we actually very quickly in the space of one day came out with a new section that could address the market. And that's grown from 0 to close to 100 listings currently. And as more are coming on board and as they cover different segments, I think this crisis has actually given us a new opportunity to tap into a new market, which perhaps without the MCO might have been a bit resistant to go to digitalize, but the MCO really made them think again and made even a char kway teow seller think that, hey, there is a scope for digitalizing my business. And that's the potential of where your investment in Vimo could go. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Yen Ming.
All right, thank you very much, Sam. I will leave with 3 pointers, just 3 pointers. First point, Policy Street is a very high growth company. So if you look at a lot of insurtechs globally, they have raised a lot of more money. The latest one, if you ever look at it, was Policy Bazaar, which raised 150 million from Tencent. So from our end, VCs that have put in private placements with Policy Street actually has no brainer, because if you look at what I've explained earlier on, currently at 8 million ringgit in terms of sales, we are only 3 times valued versus that sales. And this year alone, we are looking at closing 24 million ringgit in terms of sales. So that will bring it down to just 1 time. So it's like a no-brainer. So, and we've also got an angel investor before this call that wanted to put in 500,000 ringgit. So again, we hope that we can close this round as fast as we can. We ourselves as founders, on the converse side, also wanted to put money on our end. We actually wanted to create our own founders SPV to enter into the company. But of course, we're seeing first, see whether what's the investment like before we put in our own money. Second point, there was a company in Southeast Asia recently that was acquired by the AMTD group based in Hong Kong. They were acquired for 100 million ringgit Malaysia, which is about 20 million US dollar, thereabouts. Again, they are a company which existed almost the same time as ours, but of course they've grown. Just their sales was almost the same as ours, but they got an acquisition offer for 100 million ringgit Malaysia, valued at 100 million ringgit Malaysia. So again, it's like a no-brainer. Last point, I wanted to make the last point, is that we are now offering a special offer only for a limited time offer a 12% extra shares, which technically is like a 12% return to you. If you come into us, only during this special offer, when we go live, we will turn off that offer if you put in 50,000 of your money. So again, and I have got a reading deck, which has more details of what Policy Street has done. I am also opening a one-to-one session to anyone that's interested to have a session with me to discuss more about what Policy Street can offer to you. All right, that's it. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you, Ming. Jerome, let's finish up with you, Jerome.
Hi, thanks. Okay, I think what this MCO has actually shown us is that there are two things that we can't live without. Every one of us. Number one is the food. Thank you to all the food providers and all the logistic company out there, because everybody is ordering foods. And guess what? What are they using to order their foods? It's actually their devices, their phones. As I said, many people are actually using their devices to offer the phones, using the devices to order their food. And I can safely assure you that during this time of MCO, we have actually received more than 50 requests to repair devices, to change batteries or whatever not, because halfway through the MCO, the devices conked because it basically it didn't last the way they're using it. And last but not least, Apple actually is launching new devices out there. I'm sure you guys know they're launching the next one very, very soon, probably tomorrow. That's going to be a low-end phone. The high-end phone is coming up in September, October, and it's going to be much more expensive. And during this recession or potential global recession we are going in, what more important is potentially buying a pre-loved phone rather than buying a brand new phone, or basically extending the life of your existing handset. So I end my presentation with, we are currently offering a special investor whereby anything above 100,000 get 40% more bonus shares, which is what we offered, and actually someone else already took up that offer on top of the smaller ticket numbers. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerome. All right, thank you everyone again. And most of all, thank you very much to the attendees. You've been kind in terms of your time, spending nearly 2 hours with us. You heard from 4 founders running 4 different spectrum of companies. Each of them are doing well in where they are. As I've mentioned, VMO Rocks is actually live right now. They've already met their minimum. They're going to fundraise for the next 29 days and hopefully raise what they want to do in terms of the maximum. Our friends from Genius Aulad, Policy Street, and also Second Life Asia is still in pre-live mode, which means some of those offers which you hear is available. I do encourage those who like what you hear, like what you see, to do the right thing, which is to invest in them before they go live, because once they go live, potentially that offer that you heard about will not be already available. So it's an offer to you, investors, to actually invest in them during the pre-live session. Now, this is not the end of it. If you still have burning questions, questions that you may have thought about after this, you can always dive into our website, go into their specific pages. So you can scroll down the pre-live and you will see Genius Out Loud, Second Life, and Policy Street. Ask your questions over there. Most of the documents are also there. There is more elaborate explanation from the founders in there of a document. Do download also those documents. And if you have any questions, do leave your questions on the Q&A section. My team and I will make sure that the founders do answer those questions that you may have. Yeah. So until then, Cash, anything else, Ash?
No, everything has gone well. I think it was a good session. We all, I think, benefited from the offers, and some of the offers are pretty good. Much better than the one that when they go live are 40%, 12% here and all that. So I think everybody should look at the deals again.
Right. Okay, so for those attendees, I'm not sure whether you know, but next Monday we will have another session with 5 other companies equally good as what you saw today. And hopefully you will be able to join us for that particular event on April 6th at 2:30 p.m. We will send you the invites as what we did, and hopefully you will also join us.